I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a moment of silent prayer. Amen. October 4th. Woo! Man, we are just taking the year down. October 4th, 5:30 in the evening, we are in the Town of Bath Municipal Center. Can I have a roll call, please?
Scott Murphy,
Present.
Rick Weber.
Here.
Greg Forney is absent. Rose Jackson. Do you see how I said that? Yeah. She says I'm here, but I'm not Mrs. Chapman. Elizabeth Skinner. Here. Chris Chapman is absent, and Susan Webster's here.
Okay. Before us, we have the minutes from the September 20th meeting. I will take any additions or corrections if you have found anything in it. If not, we will do a common consent. Everything looked good to me, but everybody fine with everybody? Everything good with everybody?
It looked good to me.
Okay, common consent. All right, done. All right, we have a few people before our council this evening. The first one is Rebecca McClure.
Unless she changed.
I'm terrible tonight.
That's
I'm telling you,
sorry.
today has been one of them days. I'm sorry.
Don't
tell
I messed up her name.
There's something happened we need to know about.
Forgive
Yes,
me.
you need to know about this.
It's best to change the subject immediately.
The West Virginia Conservation Agency requested planning assistance from the USDA Natural Resources Conservation Service back in April, I believe. And that letter of planning assistance went in with the Conservation District's blessing. The National Resource Conservation Service, or NRCS, which is a federal agency, the technical arm of USDA, produced this report. It's a preliminary investigation feasibility report. This is the first step in requesting additional assistance for watershed protection and flood prevention planning. The flood prevention planning program had been kind of deactivated for a number of years, not very active. But recently, the infrastructure bill that was passed in November 21 provided a lot of local funding availability for different projects. And Warm Springs Watershed was chosen in the first round of the program for additional work, which produced this. Now we're ready for the second step, if you want to take it. The NRCS offers extensive watershed analysis and investigation and evaluation of potential projects. They do a comprehensive planning effort at 100% their cost. If the request goes in and you ask for that assistance, it has to be weighed against potential other projects in the state. And they are understaffed at this point. They've got money, but they're understaffed. One thing that they would be able to offer would be potentially local contracts. So somebody else could do the work for them. They'd oversee it, and it would still meet all of the standards of USDA, but it would be our responsibility to look for those contracts and administer them. If what I'm suggesting that you do is look over the draft letter that I provided to you and a fact sheet. Did that go in?
No,
I
I was
emailed
out. I was out today.
Oh, I'm sorry. I emailed that. I'm not asking for any action tonight, but Sharon has it now. She'll get that to you. It gives you a little bit more about some of the sponsor's responsibilities. For instance, a sponsor, only a unit of government that has the ability to tax or do, where you take a property.
Eminent domain.
Eminent domain, that's it. Has the right to be a sponsor. It doesn't mean that that's what's gonna happen. It doesn't happen. It's just that it's gotta be a unit of government. So the only units of government here that can be a sponsor are you, the county commission, and the conservation district, who all have that authority. Now, under, back in 1944, there was a law passed that the town of Bath entered into an agreement with NRCS, which was then called SCS, to build the flood control dams. That's how you got those. And that sponsorship was with the town and the conservation district and NRCS. It's not just one sponsor. I would suggest that you enter into a sponsorship with the county commission. It also doesn't preclude two separate avenues of planning. For instance, the conservation district is interested in looking at maybe rehabbing all of the dams, bringing them up to today's standards, potentially doing some additional work there, maybe water reservoirs or recreational opportunities, things like that. And the West Virginia Conservation Agency, Brian Farkas, who's been here before, could proceed along that path. And then you could proceed along an additional path for looking at the watershed itself. The infrastructure bill is particularly interested in doing green infrastructure projects. And what the Warm Springs Watershed Association is very interested in doing green infrastructure projects. So you've got a willing partner. We can't be a partner to the agreement, but you've got someone that would certainly support those activities, help you identify areas that could be done, looking for private landowners where that work could take place. Because NRCS is authorized to work with private landowners, these projects could be much smaller in scale than, say, a watershed dam, and could go into a variety of areas in the watershed. So the planning is at no cost. Your responsibilities would include holding public meetings, making sure agreements got signed, keeping track of any potential costs, and if you decide, or with NRCS, to proceed further with contracts with hold the contracts with private entities, contractors and stuff, then you would have to administer those according to federal law. Once the planning effort is completed and they've identified some alternatives and one would be selected, then the design of that project is also at 100% their cost. So it's a pretty good deal. And we would urge you to think about.
Now, what you're talking about, is this also what Jim Michael is here? Is this all?
Well, sure, we're all in the
All
same
the
group.
same, that's all the same. That's what I was thinking, because when we talked the other day, Jim, you said back in 44, when these dams were, to be constructed and like this, but there was one actually that didn't get constructed for some reason.
Yeah, I mentioned that to her, that there
Yeah.
was one
I
dam didn't
mean,
make it.
but.
If you want to put Rydersville Cycle underwater, I guess you could build it.
Always, that would take that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a possibility. There's possibilities all over the watershed, though. This is a smaller
things.
watershed,
Yeah.
and things have changed dramatically since the flood control dams were put in. There's a lot more development going in upstream. DOH has cleared will clear about 175 acres for the highway. They're putting in sediment basins all over the place, and all of those sediment basins collect water faster than what was there before, which was trees, which really slowly holds the water. So once all of those sediment basins get their water quickly, they all discharge
Yes.
at the same time. And the watershed is so narrow, it's only about a half a mile wide in those places. We don't know what's going to happen. We've already seen that we have a flashier stream than we used to. It doesn't take much to get that water to come up. It goes down quickly, but now we've got other circumstances that we have to look at. In addition, the county commission is also looking at the bypass as a growth area. So we expect more impervious areas and parking lots, more connected impervious areas, and that makes it even worse. If you can put in rain gardens or buffer strips around these solid areas, it helps slow the water down. And so those are the kind of projects that the Watershed Association is interested in, ones that we can put all over the landscape that helps hold the water in place and slows it down without trying to look for some big structure, which probably isn't feasible in this watershed at this time.
For example, at the Valley Health,
Mhm.
the Wellness Center,
Yeah.
they have a rain garden right there. So
Yes.
things like that could be all along the watershed, all along that stream.
Yeah, we're up in the sub-watersheds. We're particularly interested in doing it farther up in the watershed on the
Yes.
small side streams.
Okay.
That one is right beside the stream, and there's a question whether how good that is about retarding stormwater because it's right next to the stream.
Right.
It's good that they planted materials in there because that'll help slow it down
Yeah.
considerably. But you're going to have 17 to 20 sediment basins that don't have anything in them
Yeah.
but grass.
And they're just gonna dump all at one time, and that's gonna be, yeah.
We've got a lot of data that DOH did when they were planning those, but they planned each one individually. They did not look at the watershed as a comprehensive whole. And that's what we really are hoping. That's what NRCS is good at. They've got the computer models. They've got the understanding of how all this works. They've been doing it since 1935. And I know the programs because that was the agency I worked with.
And it
For
was
35 years.
1936, the Great Flood of Berkeley Springs, and so that's when things really kicked in.
Yeah, and the public law that the watershed dams were built under was 1944. So the dams were built 50 to 61. Things have changed.
Mhm.
So when you get that letter and the information, look over it, and if you want, then you could assign it to either a committee or handle it however you want to handle it. And I'd be willing to meet with anybody to talk them through
Your
any of the
letter's
rest
kind
of
of a
the
good
information.
Synopsis of what you just told us.
Yeah,
Okay.
I spent the morning looking at the public law, and the one thing that I see in there is that they're really pushing green infrastructure. There's
Oh,
another.
sure. It's green. Yeah, there it is.
You can have these if you want. If you want more
Okay.
information.
Okay, council.
Okay, all right. So
All right.
you're not asking anything.
I'm not asking for any action, but if we can get that letter of request in, and if you are interested in doing that, we would encourage you, if you decide, to make a joint request with the county commission,
Oh, yeah.
because a lot of the activity that's going on in the watershed
It's out in the county.
we're out of town.
Yep, it's gonna be out in the county.
Yeah, so I had planned on going to the county commission to make a similar request.
Sure.
And so please let me know if you want to tell them that you're feeling positive about it.
I think we really need to consider it. This new highway going in, I'm real worried about runoff into the town. What was it, back 2014, 13, when we had a little bit of flood that came up in the streets and wreaked havoc. I'm really afraid with everything that's going on and all the surfaces they're putting out there. And sooner or later, you're gonna see more places pop up on the outside of the new road where, just like Rebecca said, more paving where we're gonna have more runoff. 125 acres, you said?
175.
175 acres of trees around our community have now been taken down or going to be taken down. I think with this whole thing, council, we need to consider which way we
Why
want
don't
to
we
go.
go ahead and I'll make a motion that we authorize Rebecca McLeod when she approaches the county commission on this matter, that she let them know that we are interested in being involved with the county. I'll make that motion.
A second.
Okay, I have a motion, a second on the floor to let Rebecca McLeod, when she approaches the county commissioners, tell them that we are very interested in this and that we would be willing to go in. basically that's what you're,
Mhm,
okay.
mhm.
All right, any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Okay, I think it's time to start now, not wait any longer. Because I'm very fearful of what's gonna happen once we get that highway laid out there. I'm very, very fearful for this town. We have done a lot of stuff in this community to try to, absorb up the water, especially down on the first couple blocks of Washington Street, Green Street. We put green infrastructure in. We put infrastructure in underneath of the new sidewalk and from the Star Theater and all that down in there that are working very well. I am very tickled with the way they work. Problem is, we've got a lot of pavement going on around us. It's going to be all the way around. And then we have the potential of having businesses have parking lots and businesses out there, which means more. So anything we can do to try to protect our little town from major water coming in quickly, I think we need to sign on to no matter what. So anyway, Mr. Michaels, do you want to speak with this too?
Well, just a little bit.
Okay.
But she made my speech.
She did a very good job.
She did. She made it perfect.
Yeah.
I got to share a little history with you. I think when these dams were built, I was in Berkeley Springs High School going to school. And my a little more history. My stepfather, Paul Myers, was on this conservation board at that time.
Yeah.
But then Rebecca went to work with Soil Conservation Service, just like I did, wasn't it, Rebecca? She worked one place and I worked another for all those years. But and I keep thinking how privileged we are to be in the community of Berkeley Springs and Morgan County, the local people we have and the interest and so forth. And she has well described what I was wanting to say in that this land use has changed tremendously. When I was talking about those 50s, there was no food lines. There was
Yes.
nothing out that way except houses out on 522 and around town. And it's all changed. And
When I graduated from high school, we had about 8,000 people in the county.
yeah.
So very, very rural.
And so our conservation district is fully supportive of this. As you see, we've already, on this one, we've been waiting a little bit on Brian Parkinson State Conservation Agency. We can still send these letters right on in, wouldn't you say, Rebecca? I left you one there today.
Yep.
Yeah. As soon as you can sign that, we will move forward with that. And look forward to improving the drainage area and the community area out there. And with all these changes, I know there's a chance for this opportunity. And we look forward to working together.
Thank you.
I have one question. Would it be better to have one letter coming from a joint county commission town or two separate letters?
I think you could have one letter coming from
Each.
the town and the county together. I mean, if you want to do that.
Which would
Is
you
there
prefer?
any reason to do that? Why not just each one make a sign a
Well, the
letter?
county was not originally a partner sponsor, a local sponsor, so you can do it. I don't know. I drafted one for you.
Okay.
Is that
Just-
this?
That was
think
what you
mine-
sent Sharon, that
That
Sharon's
we don't
got.
have yet. Here's what,
This is what Jim gave me.
There was a template and I fixed it up. Yeah, so this is the template.
okay.
Okay,
But you
but you got that to
one.
Sharon.
Yeah, I made it
yeah.
a little more specific.
Okay.
All right, we'll get that letter. I'll get that signed tomorrow. We'll get that taken care of for that. As I said, I think it's imperative that we be on top of this right now rather than waiting, so we can be prepared as payments laid down, that we can have action happening at the same time to try to keep this community safe.
You would have the first letter in the state, so that would be good.
Right. Well, like I said,
Yeah, that's
I'll
important.
have Sharon print it off tomorrow and I'll make sure it gets back to you, Rebecca, or however you guys want to do it.
Yeah, she's
You
here
could
in
go ahead
town.
and mail it if you want.
Okay, okay.
The address on it.
All right, sounds good.
Rebecca, you staying? Are you staying for a little? Oh, good.
Okay. All right, Well, we'll move on down to communications from there. Of course, we have the concert with Oscar at the Mercer Street, his store down at Mi Ranchero, on Friday evening of this week. He's going to be performing from 6 to 8. We're going to shut the street down. I think it's going to be a good time. So if anybody wants to come out and see a good time and see Oscar and his crew perform, last time they did a really big show down there with horses and everything else. So, and the way he talks, he's going to bring some horses. So, anyway, I think it's a good thing. So,
But they're gonna do it a block up. Normally they do from Black Cat down.
Right.
Now it's gonna be from Always in Bloom down to the restaurant.
okay,
Not Public Works, I didn't know that.
I
yeah.
didn't know that.
Well, we got the road. I wanted the road shut down from up there around the
Oh,
fire
Wait a
department.
minute, hold on, hold the phone.
We cannot completely shut down the roads. You're gonna have vendors coming in. We're gonna have to work something out. I mean, we're granted, Congress and Independence are closed on both ends on the east side. But
But the vendors can use Washington Street. They always do. We
they
do.
can, unless there's something that needs to come up Mercer Street, then we're gonna have an issue.
Now they can go down William Street and come back up around and down by the fire department. It's not that much more for them to do, and it's a good roadway. So there's not that many vendors back there that can't, you know.
I'm just saying, it could turn into a cluster.
Well,
I'm just, and
um,
we'll try to take care of it, but.
like I said, I mean, I think if we put them signs up, everybody will be aware. It's 2 hours. It's from 6 to 8. You know, like I said, there's not, every time I've been down there on Friday night, there's not a lot of vendors coming in that way. They all come in Washington Street, and they either turn there, you know, to set up at the lot down there, or they're setting up along or up
Just
at
listen now, because Oscar said they had to close the road down from like at 2
3.
or 3
Right.
o'clock.
and that's
Yeah.
fine. Yeah, I don't see a problem with that. There's not a lot of vendors down there. The only people I know that are actually down there that even set up anything is right down here at the old mill. That's not gonna be closed right there where they
I
can get
know
in the old mill.
There by Hunters are putting in some type of arcade.
Yep, on
Oh.
Independence Street.
Then I don't know, Congress Street's going, they have, I forget what they told me they have coming in.
They could bring it in on Washington Street and bring it down to Independence.
He's talking about it being Mercer, like catty corner from the fire department.
No,
That,
no.
Like we're flat, all in bloom, and Rachel Gray's house,
Always in Bloom back to where Mi Ranchito is, that block,
that block.
which normally they close
Right.
from where Black Cat is back.
Right,
Yeah. It is a block closer to
right.
Festival. Yeah, I think that's what the
Yeah.
chief was talking about.
I mean, if we have to, we can close it down between,
I mean, some of the side streets not gonna be an issue because we're gonna have barriers and stuff up
Right.
anyway, or signs or what.
I mean, we
But
could
my-
always
my
tell
biggest
Oscar
concern
to
is-
close, we could close it down right there, Mercer, because Independence is closed right there anyway. Nobody can come in or out of there. Vendors don't come in and out of there. They always come in down on Washington Street and turn in because I'm right there on the corner normally.
Yeah, but I
Did
don't,
you choose to move away from where's?
Well, I don't
where's
know.
Ron?
I don't know if there's miscommunication because I said I'd like to have the road shut down up there by the fire department and take everybody up and bring them back so that they got.
Okay.
They,
That way they moved it up.
right,
a
we
block.
don't have people coming all the way
Gotcha.
down to Independence Street and then have to turn around because we got it blocked there at Independence. You know, we've got it blocked where they can go up Congress Street up to where the apartment is and turn either way that way. So.
Would it make more sense from your perspective to have them do what they've typically done is go from Black Cat this way and then all those other ones would be open?
honestly, that's more ideal, but, you know,
Well, it's a decision we can make. It
Well,
doesn't
we can
matter
just,
to
we
me.
can just tell Oscar that there's been a change of plans. We're gonna close it down. They can come down and go up, Independence and shut it off right there by his restaurant, all the way down to,
Union. or-
Union. And, because they can still get in at the old mill down here, because they make apple butter and sell sandwiches and all there. They can still get in there. There's nothing that sets up in that block as far as I know.
Yeah. It's just the independence of Congress is gonna be the biggest issue.
Right.
That would be-
Yeah, I'm not trying to cause any more grief, but right now it's.
I see what the
Enough of a
chief is
headache.
saying.
Yeah.
You would prefer them to go from
Yes.
Black Cat down to that next block,
To Union.
just that block.
Can we,
Communicate that to him.
well, can we communicate not only that to him, but I would also advise that the people that park along that stretch right there would have to, we'll have to put no parking signs up there for at least that from 2 o'clock to 8 or 9 o'clock, and then, if they want to park. Do we have parking there still with running the roads the way we do? Are we still doing
Right
that
there,
this year?
his restaurant
Yeah,
on the,
on the,
west side,
okay,
next to his restaurant. The other side, people aren't supposed to park there.
Right.
Occasionally when they get busy, they do park there.
okay. Okay, so if we
Black
put no
Cat's-
parking
what
signs,
street is that?
we have Rodney put no parking signs there,
In the
for that
field.
time that he's doing his show, we're good then.
Yeah.
So,
And
okay,
what's the other one? that we're gonna have
Union.
it? Union
yeah,
and Mercer.
yeah. So somebody want to give him a holler and just ask
I'll
him?
call both Rodney and Oscar when I get home.
Thank
And
you.
just say that that's-
Thank you, chief.
That's what we're gonna go with. Okay.
Not trying to cause problems, I'm just trying to make everything work the way it needs to flow, so,
You know, I can't remember what the last count of vendors were, but it's gonna be slammed. So we just kind of try to get everything going smoothly.
Okay.
Right.
I got you.
We'll change it. I don't think Oscar will have a problem with it. Okay, that's the first thing. Where's Apple Butter Festival this weekend?
Huh?
Gee, that was.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Hopefully we have a giant crowd that comes in. Hopefully it stays. The weather looks good right now for a fall festival. It's going to be a little chilly in the morning, but it's going to warm up in the afternoon. So let's pray for that. Also, the 29th of this month, we're going to have the zombie walk. They're bringing that back this year from 11 to 3 p.m. 11 in the morning to 3 p.m. So I'm assuming you're also working with that too, with coordinated streets that are going down and all. Okay, and Halloween this year, there's been a couple of things on Facebook wanting to know when we're going to do trick or treating like we normally do. It is going to be the 31st as usual, no matter, that's the date that we set a long time ago to do trick or treating. So I guess
6 till 8.
6 to 8, we'll have trick or treating on the 31st. So anyway, you got that kind of under control too. Good. Thank you. All right, let's move forward. Bath Development Authority, they've got their meeting tomorrow, 4:30, courthouse. They're still doing Zoom or in person. Parks and Recs, next meeting is the 19th of this month, 7 p.m. at the courthouse. So anyway, we still are looking for 2 people to represent us on the Parks and Recs board. So if anybody would love to step forward, we would really appreciate it. Planning Commission.
2 points this evening. First, if you all remember, or most everybody in the room remembers, 16 August, I handed out the comprehensive plan assessment. Asked for it within a month. To date, I've received 1 from the Waterworks. So I would ask to re-energize to please go through there and determine if it is your responsibility and the status of that task. And if you need another copy, please see me after the meeting and I'll be happy to give you one. Number 2, as it says on the schedule, we'll have our meeting Thursday at 5 o'clock, and very luckily, we're gonna be talking to Waterworks. So we're in the same sheet on the from the Planning Commission side, seeing what's the future hold. So this is very fortuitous for us as well. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, Rails and Trails.
We didn't have a meeting last month because we haven't heard back from DOH, but we've given them all the changes that were required because we're working with the brownfield, and we wanted to make sure that that information is on the design so that any work they do on the depot meets the requirements that you have with your voluntary remediation plan agreement that you've gone into, that's in effect with West Virginia DEP. We think there's some movement going on because the group that's doing the planning, HDR, has provided that to DOH, and DOH doesn't want them to talk to us anymore for a while. So that's all we have to report at this time. We are going to be planting some shrubs down there at the on parcel 3 in the area where there's already mulch around the trees that we saved.
Okay.
And we do plan on saving the trees that are on parcel 1A between the depot and parcel 3. All the trees that are along the sidewalk, we've made that same request, and we've informed HDR that we intend to save them. So we insisted that that be part of their design.
All right.
Becca, I have a question for you about the bricks that are in the depot lot.
Yes.
Okay, we had to keep 45% of those bricks as per whomever. Does anybody have a plan for using those?
We are planning on using them around the depot for the amenities in that
Okay.
area. So patio areas.
Enough to use 100 skids worth?
I don't know how far bricks
Yeah,
go, but
Right, me neither.
yeah.
The
The
reason I
one-
brought that up is we were talking about moving them out of the train depot lot. And if we're gonna use them for there, why move them?
I don't know that they need to go out of the depot lot. I did talk to Rodney, and he said that they don't have forks for their skid loader, and that would be very helpful, and then they could move them. We do only want to move them once.
Right.
And I thought that perhaps during construction, I don't know what's going to happen with the trail, whether it's going to go under bid this winter or whether the bid would be for further design. So it's not going to get built for another year at least. We may start construction on 1B before they get around to it. So I'd only like to move them once. And if we move them out of the 1B area where they reside now, it would be to take them up toward the depot on the
Okay,
edge.
The reason I'm
That's
asking.
what, I mean, that's what
Yeah,
we've been
The reason
thinking
I'm
all
asking
along.
is right now, all of the skids are all from sitting on the ground, they're all rotted and
Yeah.
dirty. So they're all gonna move all the bricks to new skids. Then when they go to move those new skids, they're gonna have some kind of a pad to put them on, or we're gonna be dancing the same tune.
Well,
down the
hopefully
road.
it wouldn't be that much longer before they get used. It's the State Historic Preservation Society that wanted us to keep those. Have you had your meeting with them yet?
That October the 27th
Okay.
is when they're coming to.
We should talk to them a little bit about it then, about
Okay.
using them around the depot, because it would be ideal to have them up in that area. There's gonna be, if we follow the concept of the Mills Group, there'll be islands and areas that we could use
Right,
them
right.
for curbing and other places where we'd be putting perhaps a pavilion. So it would be ideal. There's a concert area in Frederick that used the bricks in the lawn area as seating or in steps. So that would work on 1A as well. That
Yeah, there was talk about moving all the 100 skids worth of
Yeah, we don't wanna
bricks
take
up
them
to,
away
like
from
Sugar
there.
Hollow Road.
No, no,
And
no.
I was like,
No, no.
that you're building a pad and,
Yeah, no.
okay, that's
No.
why I asked the question.
I think it would be much preferable to keep them down there.
And what we talked about, instead of trying to buy a front end loader, when we do go to move them, we can just rent
use
the
forks.
fork
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
and hook it onto the front end loader,
Yeah.
do what we need, and then return it.
And Rydersville Cycle is always getting rid of pallets.
Like free wood.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah, they got, I never thought about that. They got stacks of them out there, so, yeah.
So good.
Okay. All right,
That's why-
streetscape.
Thank you.
Pete's in Hawaii.
Oh.
No wonder he wouldn't be here tonight.
Yeah, oh, he would have been if he could. We're starting to finally see some light at the end of the tunnel. We've gotten word from DOH that they're ready to talk to our design engineering firm, Thrasher, engineer. So they've set up a meeting tentatively in October. I believe it's October the 26th or somewhere around there. I don't have the exact date. But we'll give it to you before at your next meeting for sure. So it'll probably be a regular monthly meeting. And once we have that out of the way, we haven't got all the paperwork back from Thrasher to sign. We want to start meeting with all of the property owners that will be affected and talking to them about concerns and drainage. We've already talked to Hunter's Hardware, Danny, because that's going to be a pretty big job. He needs to do some work on his drainage systems to get it in the right area. That's a situation.
All right, any other questions for Rebecca? Okay, thank you.
you.
All right, train depot.
All right, a lot of work going on down there, a lot of progress with the interior of the building. The construction company has been bought by Lance Construction in Pittsburgh, so a much larger company owns them now. I'm not sure who I'll be dealing with or will be dealing with concerning, further construction, but it's a new ballgame. What I'm doing now, of course, is getting things ready and prepared in my frantic deal that I do with depot parking, setting up volunteers, getting banks and all this kind of thing ready, signage, parking, the yellow cones. I've got some from the town, and the Trumbull Corporation is going to loan us 20. So if we need any around it, but I got to get them back. So, all that preparation. Plus, this year, we will be able to have the depot open. Citizens National Bank is working with us. We'll have banners out front, with a Save Our Station type request for donations. Joyce Jones is going to be inside on Saturday and Sunday talking to people and taking donations, extra ones that come in. Of course, all the parking fees that come in go directly to the depot project. On Saturday, we're going to have Steve Keith playing bluegrass inside the depot. So hopefully people will come in. They'll be able to go into the lobby area. The rest will be marked off with tape and like that. But Steve will be in there with his station master uniform that he wore in Silverton, Colorado. And he'll be in there playing, and hopefully people enjoy themselves and give money to the depot project. As far as money and like that, I have contacted Region 9 about assistance with this project. Where we ran into a problem with money, and we haven't before, is that in February, I found out from the state DOH that the federal government no longer allows the valuation of the lot, that valuation to be part of, or the match for it, which means that match comes from town or someplace. So that's why you always hear me talking about money and going to, the legislature and the Senate and hotel motel and all of these things, because the picture changed on the finances with the depot with no kind of warning, which I don't think is fair. Don't know how it happened, but it's their money, So we might want to look into that a little bit deeper too. But we also are meeting on October the 12th, because along with the whole trailhead and the project that part of the project that Rebecca's just been talking about is building bathrooms, concession stand, all of those nice things, and the need for water to be run behind the depot. The Water Development Authority does have money for water and sewer development. And so I'm meeting with the chief of the Berkeley Springs Water Works and the chief of the Warren Springs Public Service District. What I need from them is estimates of what this project will cost so that I can apply for money with some kind of, real solid knowledge as to what it might cost. And so we're working on all those things, plus, money constantly, so appreciate all of your help with that, and we'll keep our eyes open for any way that we can get this done. But it is coming along. If you stop in, it's coming along. So,
Yeah, just a little bit that I've looked in the door going by, it's looking good, so.
Well, and we also hope that the station master where you would buy tickets, that room will be almost done so people can see one room that's got, there's the floor, there's color on the walls and like that. So we're also going to have a TV screen with a laptop from the town and a TV screen with the Mills Group concept plan for the whole rail trail looping for people to see, here's where we are, here's where we want to be. And so it's good to show people, what you're doing and where you want to be. So, do you have anything you want to add to? You're going to be my main man in the building.
We always need
Glad to
somebody
have
to help, thanks, I
Very glad to
appreciate
have
it, honestly.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on, Landmarks Commission, we haven't heard anything out of them. So I'll get a hold of Ryan and find out.
Do you want to speak to Landmark?
I haven't spoken to Ryan either. I've been trying to get in touch with
Right.
him. So
Yeah.
I don't have anything other than we're meeting on the 27th with.
Okay, the 27th,
So that's our
okay.
next
They
meeting.
did meet on the last, what day did you all meet? September 29th.
Yeah.
They did have their second meeting on
Right.
September the 29th, which went very well. And at that meeting, they decided to meet on October the 27th, when
Okay.
Cheryl was here to be their next regularly scheduled meeting.
All right, good enough, yeah. All right. Well, we'll look forward to hearing good things happening here soon, so thank you. Okay, clerk and recorder's report, Madam Clerk.
I had training provided by the West Virginia State Auditors Department today. I'm over in Martinsburg. It's an annual training. It just updates us on the use of public funds, open meeting rules and regulations, ethics. They also go over the budget and the audit procedures. So it's something we do every year.
All right, Madam Recorder.
When the auditors training for boards and commissions, is that
Tomorrow.
tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I knew there were 2 separate days, so, okay.
Okay, Madam Recorder, do you have anything?
Just a reminder about the legislative session in November the 12th through the 16th. At that time, also, I'll be showing the, I think it's the Tuesday of that week, the legislative, the buses are going to come into town, go through town, and they're going to stop at the depot where I can show these legislators where their money has been spent and how we plan to spend more of their money. So that's the second week, or third week of November, I guess. And that's coming up. Of course, that Tuesday evening is the Morgan County reception, which I hope we can all attend. So that's all.
All right, let's go ahead and pay some bills then.
Okay, I got it. Okay, town of Bath bills for this period total $14,832.39. I make a motion that we go ahead and pay those bills for this term.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second on the floor to pay the town of Bath bills in the amount of $14,832.39. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes.
Okay, next up, Berkeley Springs Waterworks bills for this period total $10,918.07. Make a motion that we go ahead and pay those bills for the waterworks.
Oh,
Second.
have a motion and a second on the floor to pay the Berkeley Springs waterwork bills in the amount of $10,918.07.
Yep.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, and lastly, Greenway Cemetery expenditures for this time period, $4,200 even. I move that we go ahead and pay those.
Okay, have a
Second.
motion and a second on the floor to pay the Greenway Cemetery bills in the amount of $4,200. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
That's it.
All right, thank you. And let's move on down to the tree board.
Tree Board is working on a new ordinance at the request of the Tree Cities USA organization. So we will be bringing that to the council sometime over the next couple of months, once we complete it. That's all I have.
All right, anything for Grant?
No.
Okay. Well, let's move to public safety then.
Our new police officer is here, Nicholas Queen. So we all want to welcome him. And thanks for joining us.
Appreciate it. You have anything to say? Okay.
Thank you.
I like to put you on the spot.
Trying to come out with shell a little bit.
Okay.
It'll come.
All right, anything else?
There will be, everybody will notice on Saturday, change in the parade. We are running it to the Legion now because we tried to, I talked to the owner of Chicken Brewery Mountain and he
We
needs to have
love you, Chief Link.
that road closed off because they're gonna have a beer garden and setting up for bands and stuff. So it's not feasible to run them up William Street, Harrison, and back in Independence around the block building because a lot of them wouldn't make it. So we're running it to the Legion where people can pick up, or they can wait until traffic opens back up if they gotta bring something through town.
That's so much better because
Yes.
dealing with this parking lot, they round that turn at Williams and they stop.
Some go in and go all the way back and unload and turn around and come back. Other ones just start
Great
dumping.
to
Oh, that'll be great.
That will be
take care of it.
Absolutely wonderful.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, that's all I'm thinking of right now.
Well, he's gonna get broke in real good, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
It's a lot of fun. It's fun. You'll have fun too.
All right,
Welcome aboard, Nick.
yeah,
Appreciate it.
thank you for
Come on.
coming on, and hopefully you can learn a lot, and our chief there can teach you. He's a good teacher that way, so, but welcome aboard. We really appreciate it, and,
Is he set up for school? Is that-
We're waiting on his packet to come in from the State Police Academy. Once we get it, he has 90 days to get it complete. We'll get it in as soon as we can, and then there's a waiting game. Because I know the Academy's running 4 basic classes next year. And apparently there is already a waiting list, so I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, with the new legislative changes and hiring process, with him being uncertified, he has to stay with a certified officer until he is certified.
Okay,
wow, okay.
all right, okay. Well,
Well,
Do what we gotta do.
we'll make it happen,
Yeah.
so, and we always do, so. All right. Cemetery?
We are done cutting the grass in Greenway Cemetery for the season. Appreciate the local residents that made donations to help make part of that possible. And I'm continuing to work on the records for the cemetery to try to bring them up to date and in a more organized system. And that's all I have for now.
Okay. Thank you. Public Works?
Okay, first thing I told Rodney, based on me just coming down this road to go here, is to trim up that tree tomorrow. So if you are coming this way and you stop by 9, you cannot see if anything is coming up or down the street. So they'll take care of that tomorrow.
okay.
We continue to have a vacancy in Public Works. I guess we're gonna have to re-advertise for another 2 weeks, Sharon. We don't have any applicants. I mean, there's not a whole lot more we can do at this point. Once apple butter is over this whole weekend, Rodney and company will start preparing the equipment for the winter. I hate to say that, but that's what they have
Well,
to
that's
do.
a bad word.
Our paving projects for this year were completed as we planned. We've now addressed all the citizen complaints and all that, so we now have our own list.
Okay.
What Rodney's looking at for next year is to do South Green Street. Because if you come off of 9 and come up that way, it's like pothole city from all the
Yeah.
patchwork with the sewer and water line, so they're gonna do, that's probably gonna be ballpark figure, that'll be our whole budget to do that south part of that, probably close to 50,000 is
Oh,
our
yeah.
guess at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's
And that
much
is,
wider
the fuel
than,
stays where it is right now.
Yeah.
so that's that part out. Rodney and company will be out with Apple Butter setting up, the directionality thing, so if the roads are one way, Green Street will be this way, Mercer will be the other way.
And just make sure he puts no parking down there in
No,
front
he's
of the
got, he's
granary
getting
and all.
signs from,
Yeah.
that, and I'll call him when I get home and tell him about the changes for Friday. And we already talked about the brick, so we'll wait and see where that goes.
Rodney's been very helpful because I've asked him for things about the depot and like that. He's been right on it, so. He power washed the building and, so we've been
Good.
working to get it in.
We're good.
Good.
Okay, ordinance, we moved it to the 17th. Chris couldn't be here tonight. He had to work, I guess, or whatever. So we will have a ordinance committee meeting on the 17th at 4:30. So, because we have several things that we need to discuss. So anyway, Chris isn't here either. Waterworks, I do know the project's going fairly smoothly with the water line replacement. Haven't really talked to anybody about that. Did have a few violations went out. They're typical violations that we get. The one violation was for backflow prevention in all the restaurants. We're working on that program. We've been working on that program, but the state of West Virginia just wants us to go out and tell everybody that this is what you got to do. And I don't want to do that because it's a lot of money to do all what they want us to do. Also, we got a ding on the fact that we don't have 24-hour coverage at the plant. We're in the process. We've been in the process. Paperwork's been in to have a waiver like we always had. For such a small community, we can't afford to station somebody in that pump house 24/7, 365 days a year. We've installed the equipment that the PSC says that we have to have that plant for safety. And all that equipment has been updated and is in working order. But they continue to give us a violation because we refuse to have somebody 24/7. I think it's wrong to require a water company that's got the safety procedures that we've put in. They told us we had to do this, do that, do that, and we did it. It was very expensive, but they just continuously want to give us a violation on it. So I wanted to address that. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, whatever happens in the plant with those meters and everything, the chief water operator gets immediately.
Right. It's an immediate
It's-
signal. If we have,
It's a problem.
and there's no reason, we have, they told us we had to upgrade certain meters and certain safety things, which we've done. And now they come out, and the PSC unfortunately is basically, excuse my language, they're God. They have nobody controlling them. And so I want the people of this community to know that at no time has your water been in any type of, situation where would mandate that we have bad water. Those two violations are for backflow preventers on all of the businesses that have restaurants and stuff like that. And the other violation is because we don't have 24-hour coverage. Unfortunately, you're not going to find somebody that you can man 24 hours a day down there. It's got to be a Class 2 operator. In the state of West Virginia, they're like a diamond in the rough, unfortunately. I think it's wrong. I think it's wrong that we're required to put that out to the people in this community. That's me personally, not talking as a mayor. I think it's totally wrong. But there's nothing we can do about it. If we say that we're not gonna do it, then they'll shut us down. They have the ultimate authority to do whatever they want.
But this is a yearly
do.
thing, we get the
Yeah,
same thing.
it's
But
a
how many
yearly thing.
municipalities in the state actually have 24-hour somebody in those plans?
There's a lot to do and there's a lot to don't. The ones that have, we've always operated with a waiver. Even when Susan was mayor, we
Yeah.
always had a waiver. It's been 2 years now since we put our paperwork in. They haven't given us the waiver. There's other communities in the same situation. They're getting a violation because they put in for the waiver. They've done everything that they said we had to do, and they have just totally just said, no. You know, you either give the coverage, and they've had the waiver for over 2 years, and they won't give it to us. So unfortunately,
I thought we got it granted every year.
Yeah.
They haven't granted it in 2 years.
I think he told, it might be a year, because we,
That's what I
no, it's
thought.
been 2 years because they didn't give us one the year before.
Was it COVID?
Yep. So unfortunately, we're not the only ones. The bigger municipalities, they've got the money, can afford to do it, so they get the operators. We can't afford to pay the operators like they do in Berkeley County or Jefferson County or up towards Charleston. PSC's whole thing is raise your water rates. I refuse to raise our water rates, period. You know, we got the water extension that's gonna go out 522 sometime, somewhere, and I said, not on the backs of the people that already have water. We're not raising the water rates. I refuse to do it. I just want people to know these are violations that happen because the PSC will not work with us. They give us these violations all the time and there's no reason for it, so.
Yeah, I'm drinking the water right now.
I'm not worried about drinking it, I mean, we're safe, with it. I have never,
It might be your refill.
but, so like I said, I just wanted to make sure that the public knows that these are violations that, if I implemented the black flow prevention tomorrow, it would cost our businesses a lot of money for no reason at all. We've got, when we did new water meters, we have backflow preventers in the water meters to stop the water from flowing back into our system. And it's totally ridiculous. So, and it's also, the health department is some of those problems too, so.
We have to bring up this or we just.
No,
decide
I
to
just,
solve it?
it's done. So anyway, anybody else, have anything to bring up?
Yeah, Barb Wolf wanted us to ask about parking for shop owners here in Apple Butter.
What about it?
Where can you park?
Well, where they parked for the past.
I don't know. This is
This is our first year.
Yeah, I don't know where they normally park. I mean, the chamber normally provides. She needs to go to the chamber because that's the
all right.
chamber's
We'll head
responsibility.
up to chamber. There's a meeting tomorrow.
Yeah,
We'll get that
That's it. Normally, the chamber has done that in the past because we lose a lot down there where everyone parks. That's been a chamber, this is a chamber event, although we help with the traffic control and putting up,
Okay, I thought maybe you might know. So
No.
we're gonna be going to the chamber.
yeah, that,
Thing that I know that they have some deal with the county commission for the county's paved parking lot that I believe vendors park in as
yeah, but
full
they're putting
business.
stuff
There's-
down.
there's-
Yeah, the beer garden and the
Yeah, that's
expo
putting a
room
bunch of
is
stuff
down there.
down in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, they eliminated all the
That's all,
parking.
that's all
I know,
taken.
It's every man for himself.
Yeah, I don't think there was ever anything
We never.
as far as.
No, we never
set
shop
aside
owners.
No, those two, I know
I think a
Lori,
lot of them paid to park.
Okay.
Maybe.
Those are
Yeah.
the organizations.
Yeah, yeah.
so,
Pay
right.
for the day.
I would ask the chamber, just tell them, hey, you have business here 365 days a year. You need to provide me parking somewhere because, we're always, that's what I would tell the chamber.
Okay.
All right.
We just paid
Thank
them.
Thank you. All right, anybody else have anything? All right, common consent to adjourn.
So many. What was it?
We're adjourned.